most important things in life are taught to us by either our parents, a teacher, or a caring adult taking the time to invest in us. Hi there, I'm Rod Zundel with KSL Channel 5 Sports. Think about it. Whether it's reading and math, playing sports, or whatever it means to be a productive citizen, we learn through our association with mentors. This fundamental understanding is at the heart of Big Brothers Big Sisters, their mission to help children reach their potential through professionally supported, one-to-one mentoring relationships with measurable results. Research shows that youth with Big Brother Big Sister mentors are 46% less likely to begin using illegal drugs than their peers, 27% less likely to begin using alcohol, and 52% less likely to skip school. And also, they're more likely to get along with their families than those without a big brother or big sister. In other words, a caring mentor can change a life. One example is Brad Tamman, Assistant General Manager and Director of Corporate Sales for Salt Lake's AAA baseball team, the Bees. His story is one of thousands that bears testament to the power of the Big Brothers Big Sisters program and to a friendship that is destined to last a lifetime.
It was a difficult time when my parents divorced. I mean, I can still relive some of that to this day, of those evenings when it wasn't healthy at home, but being confused at why they're splitting. Having my dad 200 miles away from me, he was living in the Chicago suburbs, and I was in South Central Illinois, and not having that male role model is really what I really lacked. I still would see my dad maybe a couple times each month, but it wasn't that daily or even weekly male role model that was in my life. My mother was raising my brother and I, and she had her own individual business. She was a hairdresser by trade and still is to this day. That takes a lot of time. She would not miss a ball game. She would not miss getting us to and from practice, but we still lack that male role model, somebody to be there for us or talk guy things or go out and do something. Mom might be working, she works 6 days a week, and I needed that male role model in my life. And that's when a friend of ours was introduced Keith to my mother and introduced her to the Big Brothers program, and that's kind of how we were matched. So Keith became that male role model that I really lacked.
At the time, I worked in residence life at a Midwestern university in Illinois, and one of my residents, who was probably no more than 18, got involved as a Big Brother, and he came and told me what fun he had, how valuable he thought it was, and suggested I get involved. And I was thinking to myself the typical things, well, I've got a job, I don't know if I have enough time, how will this work? And he says, I know this kid. He says, who would benefit from a Big Brother, he thought. And he brought him over. I know that's a little bit different than the screening process they do now, but he actually brought Brad over to our residence hall. And we hit it off very well. And this 18-year-old student said, if I got enough time to do something like this, he says, so do you. From my perspective, he was just a great little kid. He just seemed like a normal 10-year-old boy to me. It was just a great match. He just seemed like a pretty normal kid to me, with the normal challenges in school. I think probably a 5th grader at the time. And as we got to know each other better, I spent as much time as possible. And again, my initial hesitation that I wouldn't have enough time didn't be the case at all.
I was struggling a bit in school, was confused with my parents and what was going on. My grades were dropping, and then when Keith came into my life, it totally turned around, and he also helped me countless hours and days helping me with my schooling. Therefore, I became an honors student, graduated with honors, did very well in college, and then after college, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. I love working for the Bees and professional baseball. Keith, well, he's an extremely hard worker. I think I get a lot of my work ethic from not only my mother, and I think I get a lot of that from what I've seen with Keith growing up. It's such a demanding job. So many people want to do this. And if it wasn't for Keith and what he did for me with my education, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today.
If he gives me credit for those things, I think perhaps it's a bit misplaced. I just consider myself as being a close friend who was there, and I was not perhaps the most stellar student when I was his age either, but just spending time encouraging him, helping with homework as I was able. I don't take credit for his success. His success, I think, is his own, and to the extent that I was there for much of it, I'm just so grateful I was able to do that.
I built my relationship with Keith on the simple things in life. Trips are great, however, you don't need to spend all the money. It could be a simple ice cream cone going down to the Tasty Freeze. I would spend more time going over to his home just to talk or just to watch TV. But we'd sit around and we'd watch and laugh to do the simple things. And that's really what this is about. And that's what really brought me around. The other stuff, that's nice. Keith opening up the school pool every Friday and Saturday night and spending from 6 to 10 o'clock with my buddies. He brought my buddies into my life that he wouldn't have to do. Those are the simple things that really paid off for me as a kid.
It's just the day-to-day things, which to me were far more rewarding than the trips we were able to go on. And I'm sure not everybody can do that type of thing, but just being there for weekly activities and get-togethers, to me that was really special. And my initial hesitation about how much time it would take turned out to be not the case at all. I made the time, and I had plenty of time subsequently to involve myself in his life and him with mine, more importantly. And my initial hesitation didn't mean anything. When Brad was 16 and had his learner's permit, I had a stick shift, and we went to a state park in Indiana that was snow-covered, and I gave him the opportunity to learn how to drive my stick shift, and promptly he drove it into a snowbank. And I still have pictures of us having to seek out a ranger and tow us out of the snow. And it's things like that that I remember fondly as well. Great fun. Well, I think the expectation is that if you volunteer as a big brother or a big sister, that you will spend a year or two during the formative parts of your match's life, and that's great. But I was so lucky because I met Brad when he was 10 and stayed involved with his family and he with me in the community all the way through high school, and then he subsequently went to a local junior college, community college, and then to the university where I worked. And following that, when he got married, I was involved with his wedding, and then he's moved out west, first to Oklahoma City, then to Salt Lake City, and I've been fortunate to stay in contact with him through the birth of his 3 beautiful kids, and was godfather to Camden, his son, and who bears as his middle name, my name. And so this has been a long-term relationship that I've been so blessed to have. And so I realize that may not be every experience of every big brother and big sister, but for me it's been basically a lifelong thing. And I'm grateful that it's continuing.
Keith and I, we've been friends, extremely close friends for 30 years. And as long as I live, I'll be friends with Keith. And doesn't matter how many miles that separate us, we're on the phone constantly. I'll talk to him about personal things. It could be career opportunities, personal family issues, anything. I could open up to Keith about anything, and that's the kind of relationship that we have. I
would advise anybody to give it a try. and to go into it with enthusiasm and knowing what an influence that their little sister or little brother can have on them as well, and in the long term, what a wonderful relationship it can actually be. And I realize that there will be challenges that any family, regardless of the circumstances, has highs and lows, and as a big brother or a big sister, you may share with those with the family. And so it's not all happy trips and things like that. I mean, every family has challenges to meet, and being part of that can mean so much to their lives that's so rewarding for you as well. And so I would encourage anybody to do that.
Obviously, this day and age, there's a lot of challenges with kids. The bad things, there's a lot of other activities that they can do. Mentoring for the kids, whether it's in the public schools or one-on-one, can help turn a community around and keep kids out of trouble. If I was a mother or a father that wanted a match, because there's matches on both ends, or I had a child that could be in need of a match, I would be open-minded. There's a lot that these volunteers that have great hearts that they can bring to these kids. And be open-minded. You'd be surprised what this program will bring back to you. If it wasn't for my mother having an open mind, Keith wouldn't be in my life. And that's the fact. I mean, she knew there was a need, but if she was so closed-minded, no, I don't need that, we're going under control, or she's too proud to, not get somebody into her life to help her kids, that's really where it all starts. My mother being open-minded to allow a big brother to come in my life. Volunteering for Big Brothers Big Sisters just is, I can't even explain what it does for an individual. A few hours a week, we all have a few hours a week this day. Give up watching a couple of TV shows and give back to a kid that is in need. You'll be surprised at what you feel in your heart giving back to a kid that will need it more than you, taking time for yourself.
I'm so glad I did that, and I would encourage anybody considering a way to get involved and help somebody else out. It helped me, and to say nothing about whatever benefit Brad derived from it, it was just a great opportunity for me. So it's been a wonderful friendship, and I'm so glad it was able to endure all these years.
If you'd like to find out more about Big Brothers Big Sisters, go to their website. Volunteering just 4 hours a month can change a young person's life forever.